So when I started this channel, I wanted to talk about people and regular, everyday people that we might not even know about. We're only here for a very small period of time, no matter how long our life is. What stays is the stories that people tell about us. That's what keeps our spirit, our essence, alive to other people. So that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to start this channel and talk about people that definitely made a very big impact on my life, and I think that their story is really incredible. You know, you don't have to be a celebrity to have an incredible story. So I wanted to start this part of the series off with talking about my ex-wife who has passed, and we weren't together, and we had broken up probably 15 years before she passed on, but we had remained great friends. And I wanted to talk to you about Jennifer Morris. So Jen, which is what she liked to be called, and Jen and I met, I was 34 and Jen was just 22 because her birthday's in June and we met in July. And we met through a pane of glass because she was an inmate and I was the commissary manager. And we were having problems with our radios. We had sold these small radios. This was before Walkman even. Well, I think there was Walkman, but these were just transistor radios playing, I think, AM and FM. Some of them, I think, might have only played FM. And they had headsets, these old headsets that you would just, plug in your ears, and they were connected by wire. There wasn't any kind of remote or wireless, I should say. So we had bought a bad batch of them, I guess, and people were returning them like crazy. So I went into this cell block, which was a very unique cell block because one side was men and one side was women. And they supposedly never saw each other except through like passing and maybe a pane of glass. So this girl came up to me, come up to my window, and she said her radio. Now this point we're hearing all about the radios, and I said, listen, I am happy to replace that radio if you would go ahead and leave a note for me on the commissary sheet so that I remember to bring the radio next week, because we don't have any radios right now anyway. We're getting them in. So if you leave that note for me, I'll go ahead and replace the radio, and I can replace it at the same time so you can have the one you have. And if it works because it would work like sporadically, it was really, there was some sort of short in it, something, but all of them, so anyway, so the next week, so she leaves the window, and I'm working with 3 inmates. So my employees were the inmates, and they're called trustees. And one of them was a really nice looking kid. And his name was Richard. I'm not going to give you his last name, but his name was Richard. And I had said to him, wow, she's really cute, She looks like she's about 12 years old, but she's really cute. And I say it for him, to just... So the next week comes around, and I'm getting commissary sheets And she comes up to the window, and I really don't even notice her. And she hands over her commissary sheet, and there's something about the radio on it. But she signed it something about like being like 12 years old. So I smiled when I was reading it, and when I looked up, she looked up at the same time because she was looking at obviously at me reading it, and our eyes met, and I had a big grin on my face, and she had green eyes. And when she walked away from the window, I looked at that same guy and I said, "That's the girl I'm going to marry." And that's how we met. And she had said she had seen me in the woman's cell block, in the female block, but I didn't notice her. I didn't notice her for me, or I didn't feel any kind of attraction to her until I read what I remember just being funny and witty and clever, and looking up and seeing her eyes and mine and us both smiling, and it was like things just stopped. Jen had been in jail before. Jen had a heroin problem. That was her drug of choice. I'm not a drinker, and yeah, I smoke pot, but I wasn't even that big of a pot smoker back then. So the world was about to change for me.